I don't feel as if there's a calm before the storm when it comes to uh, the worldwide connection of quantum computing that can, once it can gain access to all other computing systems, change the way we explain things, communicate, do things. So I don't think there's a calm before the storm. I think once that begins to happen, people will kind of just, it'll be more of a just, whoa, you know. I like the stock market crash with Billy Zane's character jumping out the floor because the stock market. Um, if you have a delusion of human power and authority through manipulation through money, you're already dead. You don't need any video of things happening that were considered inappropriate through inappropriate people abusing people. You don't need any evidence or video. You just need to understand brain activity, the cause and the results of bad brain activity, and the cause and results of good brain activity. That's all you need if you have quantum computing. You're not talking about being invasive. You're not talking about excessive compulsive behaviors. You're talking about thoughts, words, and actions that are good to eliminate bad thoughts, words, and actions. Okay, no more advertising. No more manipulation through egotistical expression of delusions of success through power and authority through manipulation through egotistical expression. That's what you're doing. Okay, money is an invention by the evil to manipulate the stupid. That's all it is. It's in the Lord's prayer. Okay, forgive debt and trespass, love one eternal, faithful peace. That's what he's saying. Okay, and our Father who art that's a misinterpretation and translation of a bunch of Romans who have turned Jehovah into Zeus. Okay. Anybody who reads the consistencies and the consistencies of thoughts and actions and understanding throughout the entire Holy Bible and the whole would understand this. People that would debate and argue about it are the ones who invented Jehovah and Allah into Zeus in order to continue to feel like they're watching Lou Ferrigno from the clouds through, you see what I'm saying? Like they're pretending to be Hades and Zeus and a Disney cartoon. Right? And guys, Olympus would be that way, right? Blow him away, right? And we know for a scientific fact, okay, the most catastrophic natural disaster events are caused by irrational interactions between symbiotic living life forms, like the big rock hitting the earth during the dinosaurs. We know that there was a imbalance in the harmony of sustaining the ecosystem. So either the predators became too many or the prey got away and did, like the whole thing with what's the name of that movie? Ice Age and stuff. And so it doesn't maintain a functional without something like a human life form. The creation that it has the capacity for what we perceive as a consciousness that can understand greater than self. No, I do not believe whales and dolphins understand greater than self. They live in the ocean. And in the ocean, it's hard to build a structure where you can keep yourself safe from snow and tornadoes and, tornadoes. You build a mound. Okay. They'd been doing it for years until trailer parks because you guys are assholes. Okay. There's no issue. Muhammad, the structures that were built during the time of Muhammad's life and a lot of people subsequently being like him are superior to the boxes with drywall and stuff that we build now. Okay, share, care, given according to deeds, built to last. You build boxes, you ask people for money for the boxes, you destroy the boxes and sell no boxes. You build a house to last, and someone lives in it in family for over 1,000 years maintaining it. And there's never, you come and burn it down, tear over, and sell it to people again. So you do understand quantum computing. Understanding someone is intelligent is Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, Malachi, Melchizedek, Malachi, and Abraham, Melchizedek, Malachi, and Muhammad. Okay. Do you understand the intelligence of someone like Confucius and Sun Yat-sen? Okay. Of someone like, this isn't really, no, this isn't anything that's a mystery to people that were like Philip Rothschild and David Rockefeller. Okay. Because they met Totaro Suzuki. They met, I don't know if they met Sun Yat-sen, but they met Suzuki, they met Selassie, and they met Krishnamurti. Okay. So someone like me and the way that I speak pragmatically, why do you think the Kennedys were murdered? Okay. It's entirely tangible that they met Suzuki, Krishnamurti, and Selassie. Okay, because they were the president, and who's the great world teacher? Well, it's entirely tangible. They took Krishnamurti to the UN to speak in 1985, guys. So it's entirely tangible that he sat and, well, you're supposed to be this great world teacher, that both Kennedys sat and listened and talked to all three of those men. Okay. I don't believe Malcolm, no. But it's entirely tangible for the presidents too. Charles, yeah, but you got to understand the inefficiencies of egotistical people that put themselves in positions of invention of the gracious Good Shepherd of England. Okay, you got to understand the bad brain chemical activity of Charles, his family, and how it affects one another. Now, Selassie liked Elizabeth when she was young. Okay. But that world destroyed that woman by the time she had passed away, and how it affected her children. Okay. She couldn't deal with it. She couldn't handle it. You understand it though. Like I told you about Ted Kennedy, it's not like Mary Queen of Scots, and the way my mother was about that stuff and everything like that. You got to understand, when you're dealing with the people that you guys, Queen Elizabeth had to deal with the people that assassinated Sun Yat-sen, caused the assassination of Haile Selassie, marginalized and ridiculed and made fun of Judah Krishnamurti. Okay. Now, if you're in England and you know who Judah Krishnamurti is, the only man in all of England that you think, oh my gosh, born too late for you to care, now my heart cries because your heart just, if you were a woman, okay, growing up in that generation, like we had crushes on Nichelle Nichols and Lola Falana and stuff, okay, women that were in courtly life and hanging out with these complete tribal assholes like Mary Queen of Scots baby daddy, right, and stuff. Imagine meeting Judah Krishnamurti. Have you ever seen that movie Braveheart? Where she's married to Longshanks' homosexual kid that doesn't want to continue his family because his dad's an asshole and he doesn't want to be like his dad. And then you meet William Wallace. Oh my gosh. And the story, he was that, and the guy came and tried to breed him out, and And when you're a woman that's romantic, and you finally break away from this fear of this eternal social rape, and you finally see a man, and you understand, and you get to see him, okay? I can only imagine what it's like for any women that have any inkling of being a woman in this valley and in Cochise County that had a virtual presence in my house and watch me on a daily basis and go, why can't he be you? Maybe Melania and Michelle have such brain damage that they can't look Donald and Barack in the face and grab them by the balls and squeeze and say, do what Mark said. Grab them by the balls, tell them, look them in the face and tell them you can make them feel pain. I can't pull that off. Yeah, you can, Ralph. I don't want to. It's different the way I do things. I'm not going to physically touch you. I'm going to walk up to you and I'm going to say, hi, I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. I protect children and women from murdering rapists that try to assign God to their ego. If you're capable of doing this with me, you're a man, my son. If you're not, your quantum computing is going to have to get better than you. It's only natural and logical, Captain. Right? Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a lawyer. I'm a healer. I'm not a body mechanic for lawyers and academics. Okay. I help people, heal thyself. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. I'm certain you'll need less emergency rooms in El Paso, less cancer sitters in El Paso, less donations from multimillionaires to maintain their positions of delusions of power and authority through status quo, through economic manipulation, through the dysfunction of economics, right? I know exactly what I'm doing. You have an institution for indoctrination to incarceration. And they're on TV talking about how they got $30 million from one of their trained monkeys, and they're smiling and they're happy. And I sit and watch the news and go, I had hopes that some of these people would actually get up and recognize, Well, the little B. Martinez, she does things, her physicality and her personality remind me of things about my Miriam and my Edna, like the Trover girl in New Mexico State. And it was just me being Dionne Warwick for a day, because when you're extremely abused and oppressed by the worst perverts in the history of the world and you're the only man in the room, you get that feeling, oh, feeling again. Sometimes feelings never end. Just when I would make believe it's your first time. You just look at them and go, I remember when I was young, And when there was a girl, there was a boy. If they'd have met, they would have shared a life of joy. But he lived on the morning side. She lived on the morning side of it. He lives on the twilight side of the hill. They never met. They never kissed. If they had met, for love's a rose that never grows without the kiss of a morning dew. That is such a good song. I love it. That was a romantic little kid like my mother. Yeah. My dad has it too. Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, when I stop dreaming, that's when I'll stop loving you. You may take a flower, you may teach the flowers to bloom in the snow. You may take a pebble and teach it to grow. You may teach all the raindrops to return to the clouds, but you can't teach my heart to forget. My dad likes Hoyt Axton tunes and Emmylou Harris. Darling, I'm saying I know something's wrong, and I won't mention it again. I won't think about tomorrow. I think we all have a perception of what we perceive romance should or can be in this hell. I think we all do. I think even David Lopez in his scientific little self does. I think there's a little part of him that sits there and goes, oh shit. Well, your brain activity affects your daughter. It affects your grandkids. They're cute. They're cute. Oh, no. Mark is an entertainer in hell for mass murderers with a really good voice and no desire to run hell. All you people, Mark Anthony, and when he did at that wedding with that's horrible. It's a Spice Girl wedding. It's a Beckham's. You're like, no, he's just being Mark. And they can program you like they're programming a video game. And they can't get him to do nothing they don't want to do. Well, so he's being him, but it's, they're being programmed. And he's surviving in hell. I'm telling you, the coconut's biological father is not a bad person. He's a person with a talent that draws a lot of attention to him through the selfish. Okay? I was just wanted you to comfort me. When you called me late last night, you see, I was crashing into love. That's a good tone. He has a really good voice. I like Mark's singing Hector Lavoe's songs. I like Mark's better than, yeah. Okay. I like Mark's voice better. Okay. And Eddie Santiago for better. I love Eddie Santiago. Mm-hmm. You know, they had the big Bad Bunny thing. It's like, oh, come on, you guys. Even Bad Bunny knows Eddie Santiago is way better than Bad Bunny. Oh, he does. He would tell you that too. He didn't say it in the song. Oh, he was one of the best. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I forgot. Eddie Santiago is fun. Okay. His life was equally destructive, playing for drug dealers and so forth. Yes. Okay. It's not his fault that drug dealers like good salsa music at their parties. Okay? It's not Teddy Riley's fault that mass murderers for the Pentagon, a lot of them like R&B, right? It's not Nancy Wilson's and Frank Sinatra's fault that thugs and bugs, gangsters, thugs, and smugglers are thoroughly respected. The money gets divided. The women get excited. Now you're broken. It's no joke. That's all the people that Dorothy Dandridge, Ella Fitzgerald, and Billie Holiday mostly performed for once they became famous were the worst mass murderers in the history of the world. Hey, you lady. Brian Pinafcho, you're discontented and a regimented wife, right? I've been to paradise. Never been to me. They've never been to paradise. It's not paradise. It's fool's gold. Okay. Paradise is songs people sing about living the Lord's Prayer and the bunny bygone days in an isolated little cow town in National Geographic land. Or in the future, when Earl's done cleaning up this mess by being the focal point of all the people in the cow towns and National Geographic getting together and saying, I'm the way, the truth, and life, not unto the faith of the humble, eternal, kind one, except done through me, right? Yep. So we got this. Que got you. Okay. No me quedo más. Okay, so, don't worry about any of this famous people. If they can be gracious enough to embrace the beauty of their children or their grandchildren, or whoever in life that, that Katie bug, like in the parable of Juan and Jesus, think of that one person in the world, the plissy plim, the snuggy buggy, right? And now think of Adolf Hitler. Now love them both equally because you're the essence of all their existence. Now make sure that they're doing that which is right to maintain existence through loving one another, through obeying and understanding eternal natural laws for us to love one another in eternal faithful peace. Okay. That's difficult for a lot of you to do. Okay. It's even hard for me. And I'm the most perfect man on the planet. And if you don't believe that, how many of you get upset when I say I love Adolf Hitler? Okay. Does Jesus know you? Does Jesus know you? I have big hands, right? Does Jesus know you? What did Jesus say? He commanded us to love one another in eternal faithful peace and forgive them 7 times upon infinity. Right. Okay. So when you love a young man in ancient Austro-Hungarian border in Germany named Adolf, and you love him as much as you love Hirschman Steinschneider and Mildred Kramer, okay, then you too can help me clean up this, survive, stop, eliminate abuse, and then recover. If you can't do that, you're just going to have to pray to your God to save you from your sin. And your God never said he was your God. He said he was the gracious good shepherd that can help you save yourself from your sin if you stop trying to make your God There's a door upon your forehead, and it opens inwardly. You can step into it nightly. You can journey to the sea. Right? All things considered, I'd rather listen to In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning by Johnny Hartman instead. I instantly fell in love with that guy. It's just like, did Nancy like this guy? I bet you she did. I'd be extremely surprised. Okay. If Nancy and Ella both liked Johnny Hartman. Oh, this guy's, wow. I sat and listened to him and I'm like, wow. The way this man expresses a jazz tune with that voice, it's very, how the one girl, the lady told me that, oh, Bill, and Kaylin Gilliard, lots of women, okay, like, his voice is better than Robert Goulet's. Is different than, it's more storytelling of the sadness of, it's a strong man's voice talking about, if ever I would leave you, it would not be in summer. No, it would never wouldn't. I would never go. Your hair streaked with sunlight. That this strong man, this protecting man, this man that there seems to be no weaknesses in him, except for Megra and a Peloponnesian minute, right? And here he is, and he's vulnerable, and he's hurting, and his heartaches. Seems like nothing makes this man's heartache. He's too strong to break down and cry in the fetal position for 15 to 20 minutes in the exercise room on Amapola in Cochise County in Sierra Vista because of what the military is doing to his wife and kids. He's too strong. He doesn't get down in the fetal position. He doesn't cry. He gets up, he looks the devil in the devil's face and says, life's eternal and grace is infinite. You will never, never turn me into you. I will always be the angel, the gracious good shepherd that helps children through hell and stand up to establish a kingdom of heaven on earth, no matter what you do to me, right? It's hard for people to conceive that. It's like, but you're like, what did you see the stories of Jesus? It was forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. He had to get the guys all around him because people try to touch him and drain his energy. And they won't let you be human. They want you to be an omniscient, all-powerful, almighty God. It's like, no, I worship God. I'm an all-compassionate and all-merciful, kind, caring man because of my strength of my immaculate faith. Maybe you should read a little bit more of the Quran. It's hard to read the Quran. The Quran was changed by mass murderers that run oil companies that mass murder their own people to invent technology to manipulate them so they can own Muslim women from Malaysia and Indonesia and have them as sex slaves while they treat their local women like they're goddesses. That's disgusting. I know it is. Anybody who sees himself and his wife as, Zeus and Aphrodite or whoever she is. What's the one supposed to be? Is it Hera or Hera? Holy Hera? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. No. No. In the wee small hours of the morning, I don't give a fuck. Doesn't bother me at all. Thinking about egomaniacs and what they called themselves 5,000 to 10,000 years before, that's irrelevant to me. What's relevant to me is forgive debt and trespass, live on eternal faithful peace. Have faith that life is eternal through infinite glory. Share, care, given according to need, built to last. And Ted Mills, and the Blue Magic. Tear it down, start over again. We can make a brown to start, not do it through chaos, but be in balance, harmony, and understanding. So we have less chaos and destruction through our selfishness and more order, calm and, justice. God is the essence of creation, and creation has a form of what you perceive as destruction for, tear it down, start over again. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. So your perception of the devil is your own invention trying to replace creation with your own invention. Holy jihad, Batman. Yeah, I know. Okay, guys, let's load this one up. I got some things I got to do. I'm going to try to do a few chores here today. I had a rough night. You know, they attacked me with the stuff about the depression of Emily still. They're like, how do you know? It's hard to connect to her and stuff like that. You know, Tinder people are horribly abused in this disgusting interaction, and life's eternal and grace is infinite. And like with my grandma and my mom and others, you know, life's eternal grace is infinite. So in the spirit, the soul listens better than the mind and transcends the delusions of the clay, like Jesus taught us. So all you can do is realize, like I told Amy, if you kill yourself, you're not going to make the world a better place for tender-hearted souls like Emily and Cade and Noah. You know what I'm saying? All right, peace.